going on, y'all? Welcome back to the corner. In the corner where we're selling statistics and knowledge and not dope and pussy. College football, week 8. We had some upsets, we had some close games, we had some games go exactly how we thought they were going to go. We're going to start with an upset. A couple of upsets here. Number 2, Miami stayed in Dade County and got their fucking ass whooped by the completion percentage leader in Louisville. ACC game, but Louisville comes out with a 24-14 win behind 4 Carson Beck picks. 63 rushing yards by Miami. Miller Moss, 248 yards, 3 touchdowns, 2 passing touchdowns, 1 rushing. Isaac Brown, 15 rushes for 113 yards. I mean, when you add a very efficient offense that completes the ball almost every time they throw it, with the good field position of 4 interceptions, there's not really much you can do about that. But Miller Moss, a USC transfer, is another USC transfer in the FBS having a phenomenal year. Louisville only one loss. So, next we got number 7, Texas Tech, my favorite offense in the nation. I thought this would be an absolute blowout of a game. They go to Arizona State and lose 26-22. Sam Leavitt is fully back and fully healthy for Arizona State. I'm sure Arizona State very much wishes that was the case earlier in the year. Arizona State's defense slowed down a phenomenal offense. When they were missing their quarterback, which is my favorite part of their offense. Baron Morton was out with a leg injury. But at what point do you start asking, are you injury prone? Because Baron Morton sat out 2 full games and a half this year. So I just, you have to start asking those questions. Texas Tech had a 15-point fourth quarter, but just could not stop Arizona State. Could not stop Sam Leavitt in any way. Only 276 yards of offense for an offense that averages almost 450. So, I mean, cut the offense in half, minus your quarterback. It's not a recipe for a win. So, Arizona gets a win, stays at an only 2-loss team. A lot of questions with 2-loss teams this year. Like, we will definitely be seeing some 2-loss teams in the playoff this year. 100%. We got number 10 LSU going to Nashville to play number 7 Vanderbilt. Now, Vanderbilt was favored for the first time against LSU in almost 40 years. They're off to their best start in 75 years. Diego Pavia is a Heisman candidate right now in a lot of people's eyes. I don't know. I would love to see it. I really would. They have 400 yards of offense in this game. Helps them win 31-24. First time they've beat LSU since like almost the 60s or something. It's something crazy. They had 239 yards of offense on the ground. That is insanity in the SEC, running on SEC defenses like that. With that being said, I mean, I think I speak for almost every LSU fan right now in saying this is a very disappointing team. I believe they were a preseason number 4. I mean, I saw my buddy who is an LSU fan before the game, maybe about an hour before the game, and he was not hopeful. He thought they were going to lose. So, 101 yards on the ground for LSU. Half of it were on 1 rush. So they still just have no run game at all. Next we got number 12, Georgia Tech at Duke. Georgia Tech gets the win 27-18. Now, Tech came into this game not the favorite. Now, looking at it, Duke averages phenomenal numbers on offense. I believe it's something like 310 yards passing. They move the ball through the air very well coming into the game, and they very much did in this game. They had 440 yards passing. Georgia Tech with their best start in 50 years. Haynes King, there's not really a lot of crazy numbers in this game. Just hard fucking football, just feisty football. We might actually have our first true Heisman, though, like I said, where it's not just the best player on the best team in the nation. It's a most valuable player. If you take that player off of that team, does it diminish the value of the team? You know, are they important to the team? The most important, you know? But Georgia Tech getting it done. I believe they still only have one loss. So next we've got number 11 Tennessee going to Tuscaloosa to play number 6 Alabama. Alabama thraxes that ass 37-20. Now, we're going to start with Tennessee's offense because we know who Alabama is. They know they are Jam Miller, Jeremy Bernard, Ryan Williams, and Ty Simpson. That's what Alabama's going to be every time. Joey Aguilar for Tennessee, Bishop, and Staley are phenomenal players. Aguilar had 268 yards, a pick, and a touchdown. Bishop was 14 for 123 with a touchdown, and Staley 10 for 92. So offense was doing great. 410 yards of offense. They were 4 for 5 on third down, 142 yards on the ground. They had the pick 6 before halftime absolutely killed any momentum that the Volunteers had. It was a one-score game. I think they were about to tie it at 99 yards to the fucking crib. Minute left in the half. It just killed it. Already on the road, you know the stadium goes crazy, gets in your head. They also had 10 penalties. You cannot have that playing a team like Alabama. That's just not. You're not going to get it done. Ty Simpson himself on the other side had 273 yards and 2 touchdowns. I have become a Ty Simpson fan in the last 2-3 weeks. Now, I will say, seeing him this weekend, he is taller than I thought. I thought he was skinny, but you know, when you're in the SEC, the offensive linemen, no matter what team you're on, are just massive human beings. So, with that being said, Alabama moves on. Next, we got number 20 USC going to Notre Dame. Both teams with 400 yards of offense. This game was loaded. Both teams with 400 yards of offense. USC had 1 fumble and 2 picks. Jordan Mailata, 328 yards through the air, 2 touchdowns and 2 picks. King Miller, 18 for 70. Now, with what they did last week in the upset on the road, I believe it was Michigan. You take away King Miller from this USC offense, and it kind of takes away an aspect of their strength, you know? Their 2 losses are to Texas Tech and Notre Dame. Now, Notre Dame had the slow start. They're not going to have a conference game. They're not going to have anything that's going to make them look better to teams who lost to them. Texas Tech lost to Arizona State. So, on top of Notre Dame not being as strong as they're going to look, Texas Tech in the Big 12 is in shambles right now. I mean, it's the Wild West out there. For Notre Dame, Jeremiah Love, 228 yards on the ground, and then added 5 receptions for 37 yards. He had a touchdown. Notre Dame itself as a whole had 306 yards on the ground, but they were only 3 for 11 on third and they had 8 penalties for 96 yards. I mean, you got to clean that shit up. They have Syracuse, Boston College, Pitt, and Stanford all left on their schedule for the rest of the year with no conference game. Nothing to make them look better. You know what I mean? That's how the committee goes. So they got to clean that shit up before they get into some of these more meaningful games, or before it starts to be a little too late to lose again. But Notre Dame gets it done. Number 5, Ole Miss, came all down to Athens and lost a phenomenal game. Georgia gets the win, 43-35. It was a shootout. Ole Miss led the entire game. We'll start with Ole Miss, actually. They lose this game. It's their first loss of the season, so their playoff hopes are absolutely still alive. They've got SEC conference games left. They got to win out. It's starting to get a little too late for them to have a second loss. Trinidad Chambliss, facing a phenomenal defense, honestly ate them up for the first 2-3 quarters. He was 19 for 36, 263 through the air. He had 3 touchdowns, 1 passing, and 2 on the ground. Had 9 rushes for 42 yards. So 300 yards of offense. You know what I mean? That's on a top 5 defense in the nation, at least for a portion of the game. They had 4 rushing touchdowns, but not a single rusher for more than 45 yards. Not one. They scored on, I believe, their first 7 or 8 drives. The Dogs scored on their first 6. Now we'll move over to the Dogs. UGA needed this win after Ole Miss upset them last year on the road. I believe a game that got rain delayed, and really just shit on their playoff hopes last year. 100% what put them down. Defense showed up in the fourth quarter. 3 3-and-outs in a row absolutely allowed nothing to this Ole Miss offense that really moved the ball well the first 3 quarters. Gunnar Stockton had 348 yards all-purpose. He had 5 touchdowns, 4 passing, 1 rush, 26 for 31, 289 yards. Very efficient quarterback. 10 rushes for 59. Now, my only problem is he overthrew a 6'6" tight end in Lawson Lucky twice. Now, Lawson did end up hauling in 2 touchdowns in this game, so we really won't push the subject too much. Now, the Dogs get out of here with a 43-35 win, and they are 50-2 in their last 52 games at home. That is unheard of. Number 23, Utah, stayed in state, and went to Provo, played BYU, number 15 BYU, and BYU gets out of here with a 24-21 win. Now, Bear Bachmeier is BYU's entire offense. He had 166 yards through the air, 64 yards on the ground. He had a touchdown, passing and rushing. I really thought Utah was going to get out of here with the win. Now, I knew that they were going to run the ball a lot, but there were 400 yards rushing between these two teams in this game. I mean, an absolute old-school slugfest. So it's a very... You don't see shit like that in a ranked game. So one of these teams is going to be in a meaningful... This is the Big 12. The Wild West right now. Absolutely. BYU is undefeated still. Gets out of here with an undefeated record. And then honorable mention, we've got Texas surviving Kentucky in an overtime game. Arch Manning, 12 for 27 with 132 yards through the air. And Texas only had 47 yards rushing. Gotta clean that up. We cannot mean, this is a preseason #1 team in the nation, y'all. And they have shit the bed this bad. I don't know what to do. Also, honorable mention, Florida fires Billy Napier. I saw a stat on, I believe it was Barstool, where this is the third coach in 5 years to get fired after beating the University of Mississippi State. I'm going to leave you with that. But I will see y'all in the next 2-3 days with a college football preview video. And I also have an idea. It'll probably come out Monday or Tuesday, but I will be dropping my own top 12, top 15. I haven't made a decision yet, but it will be my own top 12, top 15. I haven't decided if I might do the bracketing, but I also might just do a top 15 for right now. And then once we start every week, once the committee starts doing their who's in top 12, then I'll start doing them. So, alright, y'all. I'll see you on the next few days. Doses.